这么想要我的羽翼至宝，就用拳头来说话。
我来找你偿命！
起上！联手对付我也够我骄傲，不过这还远远不够。
你已经退无可退了。
能让你陪我一起上绝路，是我的荣幸。不分之主，好走。
Hello guys, welcome to the Alrasta channel to discuss and explain the exciting storyline of your favorite series, SwallowedStar episode 231. In the previous episode, tensions peaked when members of the Divine Eye clan, 5 Chaos Master and Ultimate Arrow Master, locked down Luofeng's escape route. Even though he was hit with lethal power, Luofeng broke through using his Golden Country technique and the Shiwu wings, the battleground to a sudden halt when a giant monster, the Lava Devil God, unexpectedly showed up. Taking advantage of the panic, Luofeng cleverly trapped his enemies and escaped through an extreme lava core vortex route using his star tower. While his enemies, like Yin Tuo, barely made it out alive and 5 Chaos Master struggled desperately to escape certain death, Luofeng managed to safely arrive at Blazing Water Lake. However, the threat wasn't over. His relief quickly vanished because he was immediately confronted by a new enemy who was just as powerful as 5 Chaos Master, Feng Long Master. So, what happens next? Alright, without further ado, let's dive straight into the storyline. The encounter between Luofeng and Feng Long Master made the atmosphere even more intense, especially after Feng Long Master eyed Luofeng's highly valuable-looking Shiwu wings. Well, talk about terrible luck for Luofeng. He had just barely escaped the deadly lava ocean, only to run right into a Tier 5 Universe Master from the Purple Moon Holy Land. As they stared each other down with dead serious expressions, the tension completely shattered when Feng Long Master suddenly burst out laughing at the sight of Luofeng's intense face. Feng Long Master told Luofeng to just relax. Even though he was interested in the wings, there were plenty of true treasures out there in the Universe Ocean. In his eyes, the current value of Luofeng's wings wasn't worth him getting his hands dirty, so he just told Luofeng to get out of the Purple Moon Holy Land clan's territory. Hearing this, Luofeng immediately said his goodbyes and zoomed away from the area. Along the way, Babata felt relieved that the meeting with Feng Long Master didn't end in a fight. In her opinion, Feng Long Master seemed way easier to reason with compared to other warriors from the first reincarnation era, who usually strike first and ask questions later. Luofeng, however, believed that Feng Long Master simply didn't take him seriously back there. But that was fine by him. After all, Luofeng had absolutely no intention of making an enemy out of the Purple Moon Holy Land clan anyway. Meanwhile, deep inside the lava ocean vortex, 5 Chaos Master's flying palace was navigating in absolutely terrible condition. Even Ultimate Arrow Master, who had been enduring the crushing heat of the lava ocean, finally reached his limit and couldn't hold on any longer. Despite being severely injured herself, 5 Chaos Master kept motivating her companion to stay strong and keep fighting to escape the place. But because she was bearing the intense heat of the lava ocean all on her own, the Flying Palace's protective shield started to crack. Before long, the shield shattered completely, and the green lava poured right into the vessel, instantly flooding the entire ship. To survive, 5 Chaos Master was finally forced to play her trump card from her Extermination Godly Armor treasure. The ultimate technique, 5 Beast Extermination. This instantly allowed her to evolve into a beast god, taking on a physical form with 4 legs, 6 wings, 9 tails, and 5 heads. Ultimately, her flying palace vanished without a trace under the crushing, blazing pressure of the lava ocean. The scene then shifts to the Purple Moon Holy Land universe, where Feng Long Master is joined by a new character named Pan K Master. Knowing that Feng Long Master was in charge of guarding the Blazing Flames Lake region, Pan Ke Master shared some news about Luofeng that Feng Long Master hadn't heard yet. It turned out that Luofeng had just been in a massive battle at God-destroying Mountain against 3 Universe Masters at once, 5 Chaos Master, Ultimate Arrow Master, and Yin Tuo Master. The fight was so intense that Yin Tuo ended up severely injured, while 5 Chaos Master and Ultimate Arrow Master were dropped right into the lava ocean because of Luofeng. However, whether those two were dead or alive was still a mystery. Hearing this, Feng Long Master was shocked that the human he had previously dismissed as weak actually possessed such incredible power. But Pan K Master explained that while Luofeng was technically outmatched by 5 Chaos Master in raw strength, it was all thanks to his wings, which were rumored to have power on par with a divine armor at the Supreme True Treasure level. According to Pan Ke Master, Luofeng should currently be at Blazing Flames Lake, right in their race's territory, the very place Feng Long Master was guarding, making this the perfect golden opportunity to snatch those wings right from his hands. Feng Long Master totally agreed with his partner's suggestion, and the two of them decided to team up to steal the treasure from Luofeng. On the other hand, at the border where the blistering heat of the lava ocean meets the blazing water lake, 5 Chaos Master finally managed to crawl out of that living hell. She pulled it off thanks to her armor's ability to transform into the 5 Beasts' Great Extermination using her Extermination Godly armor. After spending what felt like forever navigating the treacherous paths of the lava ocean, 5 Chaos Master felt an immense sense of relief just to be alive. However, Ultimate Arrow Master wasn't so lucky. He ultimately perished after his divine body was completely drained. The Divine Eye Clan is supposed to be one of the strongest races in the Universe Ocean, and it's incredibly rare for their members to fall at the hands of another race. Furious that Luofeng had so brutally humiliated her and her clan, 5 Chaos Master let out a vengeful scream, swearing she would slaughter Luofeng to restore her honor in the Universe Ocean. Refusing to let it go, she vowed that as long as she drew breath, she would make Luofeng understand the true meaning of regret.
罗凤，我会让你，只要我还活，后悔，死。
Once Luofeng passed through the Blazing Flames Lake region, Feng Long Master and Panka Master finally kicked off their pursuit into the Cold Air region, where Luofeng was currently heading. Amidst the howling, freezing winds of that zone, Feng Long Master shouted at the top of his lungs while activating his Nebula Lamp domain technique, ordering Luofeng to stop. Hearing this, Babata was totally baffled. She pointed out how that guy initially claimed he had no interest in Luofeng's treasures, yet now he was shamelessly chasing him down. Luofeng explained, however, that once anyone heard how amazing his Shiwu wings were, it was bound to spark greed in anyone, including Feng Long Master. Luckily for Luofeng, the situation played right into his hands because teleportation was completely blocked in the Cold Air region. As long as he stayed inside this zone, his pursuers wouldn't be able to catch up to him. Seeing Luofeng just circling around the area, Panka Master got pretty annoyed, feeling like Luofeng was just messing with them. On top of that, Luofeng used the power of his golden domain to maintain a safe distance between his own domain and Feng Long Master's. The two domains moved along side by side without any direct clashing, while Luofeng flew completely unbothered inside his golden sanctuary, totally fearless of his opponents getting close. Trying a different tactic, Feng Long Master attempted to sweet-talk Luofeng into handing over his silver wings peacefully. He argued that someone with such a low strength level didn't deserve to own them. To play fair, Feng Long Master even offered to trade them for 3 high-tier or pinnacle true treasures. Besides, he mentioned that word about the wings' incredible power had already spread far and wide, meaning tons of factions in the Universe Ocean would soon come to snatch them away from Luofeng anyway. Feng Long Master stressed that Luofeng wouldn't get a sweet deal like this if he ran into other parties who were way harder to bargain with. Panka Master also warned Luofeng to think long and hard about his choice, because if he forced their hand, his life would be on the line. He even boasted that even if the huge axe creator showed up, there was no way he could save Luofeng from being completely surrounded by the Purple Moon Holy Land clan. Hearing Feng Long Master play the good cop and Panka Master play the bad cop instantly made Luofeng sick of their nonsense. To prove that this main character was no coward, Luofeng challenged them right back, telling them that if they wanted his wings, they'd have to let their fists do the talking, meaning it was time to fight. In classic Luofeng fashion, his words were never just empty threats. Simply by unleashing the sheer pressure of his Golden Country domain, he completely silenced both Universe Masters, leaving them grinding their teeth and too terrified to make a move. Well guys, could it be that these two are actually scared of Luofeng? But out of nowhere, another entity came crashing down onto a nearby mountain peak right behind Luofeng. It turned out to be none other than 5 Chaos Master, burning with deep, intense hatred for Luofeng. Seeing that his arch-nemesis was still alive, Luofeng decided it was time to get out of there and bolted. Not about to let him escape, 5 Chaos Master immediately whipped out Ultimate Arrow Master's leftover domain treasure, the Core of Blade Sector. Spotting the manifestation of the Core of Blade Sector domain, Feng Long Master initially thought Ultimate Arrow Master was the one attacking Luofeng, but he quickly realized it was actually 5 Chaos Master, who had come to exact bloody revenge on Luofeng for Ultimate Arrow Master's death. Meanwhile, seeing that the Purple Moon Holy Land clan was struggling to handle Luofeng on their own, 5 Chaos Master offered them a deal to team up and finish him off. suggesting they could figure out how to split the loot afterward. Hearing this, Feng Long Master and Pengke Master readily agreed and began setting up a flanking formation to take Luofeng down together. Seeing members of two completely different factions teaming up just to take him down made Luofeng feel a surge of pride and excitement for the challenge. Still, if they thought that was enough to take his wings, they were sorely mistaken. As the two enemy domains closed in on him from both sides, Luofeng blasted straight up into the air at high speed right between them. Well, it looks like Luofeng is baiting his opponents, guys. But before he can reel those fish in, the scene shifts over to a meeting room in Hongmeng City. Inside that virtual meeting room, the various Universe Masters had gathered to discuss the recent rumors surrounding Luofeng. To confirm the whispers, the Primal Chaos City leader, who had caught wind of the news from the Purple Moon Holy Land clan, immediately summoned Luofeng. He asked if his disciple had really just fought against 3 Universe Masters all at once at God-destroying Mountain. Before Luofeng even arrived, just hearing that question left all the Universe Masters in the room stunned by his sheer capabilities, though they still weren't sure if the news was legit. Just then, Luofeng materialized and greeted everyone present. Answering his master's previous question, Luofeng flat-out confirmed that the rumors were absolutely true. The revelation instantly sent shockwaves through the entire room. Following up, the Primal Chaos City leader asked about his current situation. Luofeng broke down the timeline, explaining that while he had initially managed to escape through the lava ocean, things had taken an unexpected turn. He was currently being hunted by Feng Long Master and Pengke Master from the Purple Moon Holy Land. On top of that, there was one more person hot on his heels, 5 Chaos Master who had somehow survived the lava ocean. So, as things stood, Luofeng was actively running for his life from 3 Universe Masters. It wasn't just his master who was stunned by the response. Firestone Master, whom Luofeng had rescued in the past, stood right up and volunteered to go save him. However, Luofeng pointed out that it wasn't a practical solution, since the other human Universe Masters were way too far away and would never make it in time to help him out of his current jam. In the worst-case scenario, Luofeng figured he might have to sacrifice the main body he brought into the Universe Ocean. Since the previous clash at God-destroying Mountain had already cost the Divine Eye Clan heavily with the death of Ultimate Arrow Master, the most troublesome opponent in this upcoming fight would be 5 Chaos Master, who was hell-bent on a life-or-death struggle against him. Even so, Luofeng had no intention of backing down from the challenge. But because his consciousness was currently split, he had to prioritize his survival, so he quickly logged out after giving his master a rushed farewell. Hearing that his disciple was about to engage in a fight to the death left the Primal Chaos City leader deeply worried and completely shocked by his disciple's utter recklessness. He wasn't the only one. Everyone in the room was stunned because nobody expected him to be able to go toe-to-toe with a Tier 5 Universe Master. Even Void Gold Master, who used to look down on Luofeng, was left completely amazed by how incredible this main character was. Back to the high-stakes chase in the cold air region. Blasting upward after breaking free from the pincer grip of the two domains, Luofeng was currently fleeing straight toward where the Frozen Lake Thunderbolt fire was located. This place featured such extreme sub-zero temperatures that it could freeze and shatter even a pinnacle true treasure. On top of that, Babata warned him that there was a high chance Luofeng's own Star Tower could freeze up and break apart too. The Frozen Lake Thunderbolt fire was widely known as a place far more terrifying than both the Blazing Flames Lake and the Cold Air region combined. Hearing this, Luofeng completely ignored her advice and pulled a totally reckless move. But don't worry, because Luofeng had a trick up his sleeve. Using his pyramid-shaped Star Tower, he dove straight into the Frozen Lake Thunderbolt fire zone. Meanwhile, among his pursuers, Pengke Master mocked Luofeng, calling him an idiot for flying right into a dead end where he wouldn't be able to escape for much longer. To shield themselves from the hazards of this extreme region, Feng Long Master and Pengke Master each summoned their respective flying palaces. Meanwhile, 5 Chaos Master unleashed the ultimate technique of her extermination godly armor to transform into her 5 Beast God form once again. The 3 of them forged ahead into the Frozen Lake Thunderbolt fire area, which was raining down frozen meteors all around them. The extreme environment was so brutal that even 5 Chaos Master's wings instantly started freezing up the moment she entered the danger zone. Watching Luofeng fly higher and higher away from them, 5 Chaos Master scoffed at his ignorance, thinking he was practically begging to die. She knew full well that the area Luofeng was heading into was no ordinary place. Little did she know, Luofeng was already well aware that the place up ahead was called the 12 Abysses. a hyper-lethal location that was exponentially more dangerous than even the lava ocean. Luofeng wasn't just blindly charging into this death trap for no reason. Since he possessed the Star Tower, a supreme true treasure, he was completely confident he'd be perfectly safe inside. However, 5 Chaos Masters' utter ignorance about Luofeng's hidden trump card was about to backfire big time. Luofeng knew that the 12 abysses could normally only be explored by true god-level powerhouses, and since he was daring enough to dive in, he certainly wasn't going down alone. Just like what happened back at God-Destroying Mountain, even though he was outclassed in raw power, this time Luofeng was going to drag 5 Chaos Master right down into the 12 abysses with him. He activated his I Am the Universe technique, pulling her straight into his miniature universe so she couldn't chicken out and turn back at the threshold of the 12 abysses. As the laws of time, space, and gold fused together, it instantly sucked 5 Chaos Master right into Luofeng's miniature universe. Witnessing Luofeng's utterly insane move left Panka Master completely flabbergasted, writing Luofeng off as a total madman. Even Feng Long Master started regretting his life choices, realizing that in his greed for Luofeng's treasures, he had wasted a ton of energy fighting a complete maniac. Fortunately for them, Luofeng had only dragged 5 Chaos Master down into the abyss with him. Meanwhile, after dragging 5 Chaos Master along, Luofeng finally plunged deep into the 12 abysses. Once inside, 5 Chaos Master pointed out that both her main body and Luofeng's were guaranteed to perish. Despite her burning hatred for him, she had to admit that Luofeng's sheer bravery and guts were absolutely insane for fighting her tooth and nail all the way down here. From that very moment, she declared that she would view Luofeng as a true rival, vowing to fight him to the death in the future. She was confident she could overpower him later on because she still had plenty of true treasures stashed away with her clone bodies. However, she noted that it was a shame Luofeng would be losing his winged treasure and his flying palace here, making it look as though he wouldn't have the firepower to stand against her down the road. Hearing her words, Luofeng said he felt honored by the sentiment. Too bad for her though, because in the future, Luofeng was only going to get stronger, exponentially stronger than 5 Chaos Master could ever dream of. Just as 5 Chaos Master tried to make a break for it, swimming against the current toward the exit of the 12 abysses, a massive cluster of mysterious hands suddenly emerged out of nowhere and dragged her deeper into the void. In the end, her body sank into the depths, and she could no longer maintain her beast god form. Slowly but surely, her physical form disintegrated into absolutely nothing, leaving behind one final echoing message promising a future battle to the death. Once 5 Chaos Master's body dissolved, her treasures started sinking deeper into the abyss along with her. But Luofeng, watching closely, was completely stunned to spot a black token dropped by his fallen enemy. It's well known that there are 3 types of tokens within the Universe Boat. The lowest is the black token, followed by the green token, which Luofeng had scored earlier, and the highest tier is the silver token, previously held by a void true god. Each of these tokens acts as a key tied to a specific secret dimensional space, capable of unlocking rooms that likely hold incredible treasures left behind by ancient powerhouses. Based on his own deductions, the green token he got from Jiafanzi's legacy was definitely located deep within the inner regions of the Universe Boat, a place Luofeng probably couldn't reach just yet. However, when it came to unlocking the room for this black token, he felt he actually stood a decent chance of getting there. Fired up, Luofeng pushed his star tower to dive after the black token. Right in the middle of his attempt, an urgent message popped up from his master, the Primal Chaos City leader, asking how he was holding up. Luofeng immediately shot back a reply, stating that he had successfully dragged 5 Chaos Master down into the 12 abysses, adding a final request for no one to come rescue him. Reading his reply, Babata completely panicked, questioning his sanity as if he were actively embracing his final day alive. After all, there were plenty of powerful human powerhouses who would gladly rush to his aid. But Luofeng did this because he refused to drag the human race into his mess. Once word got out that he and 5 Chaos Master had plummeted into the abyss, it would inevitably attract a swarm of true gods eager to plunder their leftover treasures. If the human faction tried to intervene, it would spark a massive war between major powers in the universe ocean, bringing nothing but trouble to humanity. Luofeng was taking full responsibility for his actions, and to throw off the rest of the universe, he actively planned to spread a false rumor that his main body had perished. The scene then cuts to the outer regions of the Tilted Peak realm. Based on the final message sent by Luofeng, the Primal Chaos City leader reported to the Huge Axe creator that Luofeng's main body had likely fallen in the 12 abysses. While deeply saddened, his master couldn't help but feel immensely proud that his disciple managed to take 5 Chaos Master down to the grave with him, considering she possessed power comparable to his own. Hearing this, the Huge Axe creator noted that this setback would serve as a crucial lesson for Luofeng's growth, forging him into someone even stronger. Besides, since Luofeng possessed cloning techniques and an insanely fast leveling speed, it was practically guaranteed that he would reach much greater heights in the future. The pressing issue now was that since the main bodies of both Luofeng and 5 Chaos Master had fallen, their treasures were left behind inside the 12 abysses. Worst case scenario, if those treasures fell into the hands of other races, it would be a massive loss for humanity. During their meeting, the Primal Chaos City leader asked if the Huge Axe creator could step in to help retrieve his disciples' treasures. Hearing this, the Huge Axe creator, the true god powerhouse of the human race, agreed without a second thought, ready to send shockwaves through the other true gods inside the universe boat. Then what happened next? Alright, thanks for watching until the very end, and don't forget to keep supporting this channel by leaving a comment, dropping a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, bye.